return to the world of Logus,
Yes.
to the island of Sarugu, to the city of Hayaba and the castle therein. And in the main meeting hall of the castle stands every person of great importance that you could get your hands on in the last couple of days, which happens to be a number of people. You were just beginning to discuss what your plans would be for the impending invasion, the army of the shogunate that had come to put your rebellion down once and for all in a very final, very deadly sense. When the doors had opened and Akio Arata, the mercenary captain and all around stand up guy, had returned to walk in and join you.
Yes.
I have returned from the Crusades.
Everyone looks at
What?
Akio with extreme confusion.
Sorry.
We have crusades.
I heard that from a guy and I always wanted to say it. Ignore me.
How'd it go, Akio? With the goblins?
Wait, how do you know about that?
I was the one who sent you, you dumbass.
Yeah,
Oh. I thought
yeah, that's kind of the whole thing, right? You had to go talk to the goblins. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
secure their allegiance. Did you secure their allegiance?
Yes. We also stopped their... They had a bit of a problem that might have had them glued to where they were. But that's been solved.
The word glued seems ominous. I don't know why.
Well, the glue has been solvent.
What?
There was... I was trying to think of a pun. There was there was a solution to the fuck you. Damn it. Whatever. The goblins are coming.
Okay.
Good goblins.
That's good.
It's been a while since I've had to roleplay because it's been like 2 weeks.
We also need to talk about you stealing the airship, but that can come later. There's other important things to talk about first.
Yeah, what's up? What's this about? What are we doing?
What's all this then?
This
Get me-
here's a war council, I think.
Yes.
Ah, that makes sense. All right,
Yeah.
I have things to say. Maybe.
All right. So first off, thanks to the Archon's help. I think I said this before, but I'll go over it again since Akio's here. And
Yeah.
it's been 2 weeks 3 weeks. No, God, 4 weeks probably since we did this part. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Because we
been like a
did
month.
this. Yeah, because we started this and then we did the Akio flashback.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think we skipped 2 sessions in between.
Yeah.
We only played like every other week for the last 5 weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks to the help of the Archon, we were able to scry on the Shogun's army and figure out where they were. Unfortunately, they're just days away right now.
Oh.
Yeah. We saw them just off the coast of Kesh, near Ryoko there.
Wait, do we have a map up?
Yep.
So where is that?
Around here.
Oh. So they're going through the islands. Oh. Like through here? Oh, through here.
Where was it again exactly, Sal? Did I saw them? I can't remember.
You saw them.
Was it here-ish? Or was it here? No, it was probably here because they were days away.
You
So.
found them in the River Kingdom of Oromai.
Yeah.
And I believe at this point they're still on the southern side of the peninsula.
Oh, okay.
Wait, where is the... what's with this red line?
Actually, no, excuse me. They were on the northern side. They were here.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah.
If I recall.
Oh. All right. Well, out
So
of curiosity,
they were only days away.
were you able to scry like information beyond that? Did you see how many ships? Do they got a port? A lot of these things matter.
Yeah.
Information.
There's a lot of ships.
And they got a
There was
dog.
a lot, right? Huh?
Approximately 50 or so.
Yes.
50 ships, huh?
They
Well-
also had two old the head of the army that's coming here also had two old ladies with him who noticed that we were scrying on them. So I imagine they're probably potent magic casters themselves.
Damn, they got ad block filter.
I suspect they also have perhaps more.
Wait, I guess VPN would have been whatever.
I'm sorry.
No, nothing. All right, well, we know that they're coming, so they're probably gonna land near. Okay, Hayaba. That'd be the closest thing. What could we do? What could we do? Well, out of curiosity, it's been a while since I asked, but how's our, well, navy?
Not much.
Yeah, basically non-existent.
I mean, we have the individual ships that we have are probably of the higher technological capability than theirs, if I recall correctly.
Eh,
Um,
There are more ships with cannons.
Yeah.
yes,
We also have the big from the Montfrancons. We have the big artillery guns
guns.
there. Yeah.
Hmm.
They're not big. They're actually kind of smallish.
Yeah. They're big in power. I mean.
Bigger than
Yeah.
a
Well-
handgun, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah. The
What's
point.
the,
They're still a
all
can.
right. Well, what's important is this.
But they
were
could
you
probably
able to?
sink some ships, but we don't know.
Well, there's a difference between a ship that is equipped for battle at sea and a ship that's built for shore bombardment. Were you able to get an idea, I guess, from the ships that you were looking at, what to expect? They might not even need to land, depending on what exactly they intend on doing. I would assume
Hmm.
that the ships that they're holding are carrying, from the sound of it, are carrying a large amount of soldiers, which means that they are possibly. And I'm gonna try to describe rotation real quick for a second. So give me a second here. I assume that they're going to have a patrol around the main ships that are carrying the soldiers that are actually protecting it or at the lead. I wouldn't really know, but that's just a guess for the formation, and that they would essentially try to lead into Hayaba, then or any particular shoreline, commence with bombardment, and then eventually make it so that their soldiers can land safely.
You're presuming
So-
they have artillery on the ships. What sort
Well,
of ships are they? Says
yeah.
Enrico Poloni,
Yeah.
your favorite fishman mercenary.
Yes. He's my only fishman mercenary.
That
That's
is
why he's
also
the favorite.
Favorite
Yeah.
fishman mercenary.
Man,
Let's see.
if
How much
only
can
they-
like a Sato call? I guess. And how much does Sato even really know about ships? I suppose. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's another thing. But as you recall, and in fact, as the Archon would be able to recall, also
Yeah.
since he was watching with
He
you,
was there. Yeah.
the ships that you saw docked in the Ormai city were mostly Tian junks. So fairly large sailing ships. You don't recall, you didn't exactly get the closest of views, although you did zoom in quite a bit on one or two. You don't recall seeing much in the way of artillery. You don't recall seeing necessarily any cannons. But even stuff like ballistae or catapults or mangonels, there were few and far between. They look like they're mostly impressed
Troop carriers.
merchant ships that are being used to ferry or freight ships used to carry troops now instead of cargo. There were also
So-
there were a number of Hadanese vessels as well, though, Bune, that may have a somewhat more potent armament. There were you could recall seeing a fair number of substantially large Bune.
Sapune?
It's a flat-bottomed, large, tall vessel, usually motivated by oars, no
Like a
sails.
floating fort.
It's basically a big floating house. Yeah.
Right.
But you could fit
So-
cannons on one of those.
So, and
And due to
this
its
is that was
structure, they'd be fairly concealed as well.
so that was out of character, but Akio would know that.
Oh yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
think
Akio, if you want to roll a knowledge soldier, I think you have,
yeah, even
or
though
knowledge mercenary, or lore mercenary lore, I guess.
D&D
You
background.
can do so, and I will happy to fill you in on what Akio might suspect is going on. Akio, you rolled a 29. He has a pretty
Nice.
good idea of what might be going on.
Mhm.
So yeah, from what that is being relayed to you by Sada and the Archon, Akio, you posit that yes, these are probably ships that they grabbed from Tian ports that weren't destroyed, and are being used to just send this army off to Sarugo to crush you. Presuming that the vast majority of the actual warships of Hadano are being used to actually guard the supply routes between Hadano and the Shogun's army at T.
Okay.
T does have a substantial navy. It's mostly part of the Crimson Army of the South, though. So if it starts getting redirected to the northeast, he would need to keep a substantial amount of Hadanese ships in the area in order to ward them off and keep him from getting cut off from his islands, which obviously would spell disaster for him if that were to happen. You would guess, as a result, that yes, these ships are probably very unarmed. They're likely just being used as ships. The crews are probably being forced to work in these work for the Hadanese army in this case, in order to sail towards Sarugu and just fling a bunch of troops onto your shores. And what you know of Hadanese ships and just generally Hadanese methods of war, you would also know that even the Bune are probably not extremely heavily armed, certainly not with cannons. You know that that gunpowder weaponry is extremely rare in Hadano. The samurai class largely doesn't trust it yet, although some lords have made use of it and have included samurai armed with arquebus or muskets in their forces. But by and large, it hasn't been largely adopted, and cannons have not really made their way into production, well, anywhere outside of Montfaucons. So in Hadano, if they are armed with anything, it's probably some sort of ballista or maybe a mangonel or two, but not something that you would expect to affect good ship-to-ship combat or a good shore bombardment. The Hadanese method of naval combat revolves around boarding ships and getting into close quarters combat so that you can actually fight them with your swords, where the Hadanese excel.
Okay, well, so I'm going to at the realization of this, I'm going to walk around with my hand to my chin with arms crossed, such, and then okay. So Sada,
Yeah.
there is in fact a gigantic weakness in their numbers, if what you saw is true. And that's the fact that they are taking their soldiers across sea. Which means that at sea, they are at their most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And the last thing, the worst case scenario would be for them to be able to land, or to first bombard the shores and then land, which was probably not likely. They'll probably try to ram their way in. So I have There's two plans I can come up with right now on this spot. They both involve us taking the fight to them. Either we engage with them with our ships, slow them down, or we could go about it a different way. And you might not like it. We could use the Sky Ciphers.
Guys, gifts.
Sky Gifts, whatever. Why did I think there were Sky Ciphers? I must have played something called. Anyway, Sky. We can use the Sky
Slifer the
Gifts.
Sky Dragon.
Sky.
Gifts.
Yeah.
SK. Not G.
So
A sky,
That little
a GIF, if you
we
will.
could
It's pronounced
could
GIF.
Yeah,
obvious-
I agree.
now
That's one.
obviously if they have ballistae and they were to damage the ships, the Sky Gifts, that would obviously down them, which we can't afford to lose. Wait, am I saying it wrong?
It's Skiff.
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 yeah.
Sky Sifts, okay. But from the sound of it, if we go above them, above the fleet, we could essentially have an easier way of raining upon them with whatever we need and sink their ships. Now, I don't need to tell you what happens when those ships sink. I'm gonna obviously allow the moral decision, the ethics of that up to you.
I mean, I was
This
already
was-
thinking about
More.
sinking. I was already thinking about sinking their ships. I just don't know how many we can get. Is the problem?
I put my hand up. I have a question.
Yeah.
What's up?
Have we talked to the mist kineticist? What's her freaking
Oh yeah, her
name?
too.
Hang on, she's in my
What's her name?
notes.
Yeah.
We were thinking about that earlier too, but we never actually got around to it.
Yeah.
But she could definitely, with the mist, hold them back probably somewhat.
Because what I'm thinking, the range of her mist was impressive. Like it was, she could cover a large distance, right?
Yeah.
Like with a cloud bank.
Semnurial.
Kimnurial?
Chemnurial.
Kimnurial. Could
Um,
she cover their fleet in fog of like a certain area and a certain height, and then from above they wouldn't be able to see
Yeah.
out from above? We'd have a clear view, and then we could maybe just do something with that.
It's an
Um,
interesting idea, but I do first. We need to clear things up. Archon, were we to ask, would we have access to your sky skiffs?
Given that this is the scenario, of course, it's the greatest
Okay.
way that
Sure.
Amberelia. No, excuse me. Is the best
Amberillion
way
on the
for
city of the
Ambere-
Wings of the Phoenix.
Wings of the Phoenix.
Yes, thank you. Amberillion can assist, I suspect, at this time.
The second thing, while Valine, so Valine's my archivist, while Kimnuriel was able to do that in a situation where she was able to maintain seclusion and focus on a singular area,
Right.
I'm worried about her efficacy on a large moving target.
Yeah.
That's,
Uh,
I suppose.
I mean,
But even
If we could
even
at least
just
get
have,
it off the coast somewhat, it may even help some.
Can
Yes.
I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you cover the fleet in mist, they might not know where they're going. They might run aground, and that would be very funny. But
Yeah, but then we also wouldn't know where they were either.
precisely,
Yeah.
your plan was to bombard them from the air, but covering
Right.
them in mist would obscure their position as well.
Yeah.
except if it's dependent on how controlled the mist is. If it's of a bank of a certain height, we'd be able to see maybe the tips of their masts and just use that as guidelines. It's just it's a theory. I don't know how exactly the mist thing works. So
I have a suggestion to where yes, I think they would be more vulnerable than if their army was fully assembled out of their ships, but they would be able to move. They would be it would be more difficult, I feel, to line up the targets with, frankly, limited explosive capacity that we have. We have mages. We have some parrot guns that can fire from the shore. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I looked towards the Montfrançois people. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this no to this. I'm trying to think of different possibilities.
Yeah.
What
Right.
I would
I'm-
posit that their area of biggest vulnerability is not while they're moving at all. It's when they are beginning to unload their troops. Their ships will be beached essentially. They will be people will be moving out into formation, but will not have fully assembled yet. Their supplies will still be on their boats. They will become much more pliable targets.
That's true.
Yeah.
The most vulnerable time for a water invasion is when you're just getting out of water.
Hang on, let me roll my profession soldier just to sound like I know what I'm saying. I sound like
You
I know
know-
what I'm saying.
You know exactly what you're talking about. And there was just an explosion outside my window.
Oh,
And
damn.
one later.
I heard that. I thought somebody
Yeah.
was like smacking their table. It's the
They were
loan
very
sharks.
impressed by your 35.
They're here for road and vape, Sal. Get out.
Trying to
Um,
guess. But also, I guess the other problem is that we don't know exactly where they're landing yet.
No, we
'Cause
don't.
We presume it's Java, but they might try to circle around for all we know.
Well, that was my consideration actually.
Yeah.
And to your point with the mist, if I could make a suggestion,
Oh, we could use it to force them into one spot, yeah?
yes,
Yes. I didn't think about that, but
my
that's a good idea.
my opinion, humble as it is that direct assault on Hayaba trying to land on the docks, very unlikely.
Yeah.
You
Right.
you have wooden docks. They try to set up on that. You burn them. It burns the ships. Suddenly, people are swimming in the water instead of on your shores. Plus, you have a few ships with cannons. You can't stop a fleet that size directly, but if you just let them go past you and shoot them as they're trying to land, they have major problems, and they may know that we have those.
That is something I had considered. What if, the sky skiffs can be used to harry their rear as they are landing, along with
recommend
our
it, yes.
vessels. Um,
But
Hmm.
if I were them, I would land somewhere along the west coast, close to where I can easily access the roads leading to the most important places.
Bozu,
Uh,
probably.
can we pull up the
No,
map
Bozu
of
is not
Surugu?
connected to
Oh.
any road.
Hmm.
But Katsune,
Ah, yes. I thought
You
Bozu
go
was
north
connected
to
to
Hai-
this. I guess I'm just forgetting.
you
Hey.
go north to Hayatetsu, you go north to Shirado, you send threaten Mizuna and its water supply to Hayaba, or
Yeah.
Hayaba itself.
Hey, Sals, can we see the map of Surugu, please?
Oh, I forgot to move you over to it.
I mean, we were on the. Yeah, there we go. Both worked. Oh, yeah, Katsune,
I-
yeah.
Hang on, I need to refresh because mine didn't update.
Hmm.
Update. Okay, there we go.
So, Senora Palina, if you don't mind me stealing your idea, creating a fog bank north of there to Hayatetsu, which would also be a very good landing place.
Yeah. We could potentially force them to Katsune.
Correct.
Yeah.
The other option for them would be sail around the island to Kamako.
Kamako probably will run into the same problems they would in Hayaba.
Yes, but there is a very long coastline with no trees
Yes.
and a main road leading across the entire island.
Yeah. That too.
They have two choices, really. I see it. They don't want to be traversing along the unroaded hinterlands in the forests and jungles of the interior of Suruku, so they're going to land somewhere along the plains on the south. But either on the west or the east side, that I don't know. I just know that they're not going to land on your cities. I did that once for the Blumidines. Wasn't a fun time. Those dwarves that we were landing against, they had stone piers. didn't matter too much about to us. They still coded them in pitch.
I would
Looking at
imagine they would.
him,
I would imagine it would be closer to Kitsune. They once they were established, I could see them seeking to use it as a staging ground. It's closer in proximity to Hayaba and also Mizuna as well.
any of you make an intelligence check?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me use my very average intelligence. If my-
Are there any other skills that could be
Soldier,
soldier? Okay.
mercenary for Akio,
Just to make sure.
or soldier rather.
Oh,
Nice flat 10. That's what I'm talking
Oh.
about.
Oh.
Oh!
According to
Can we
my-
get a piece?
Tombstone,
Yeah.
you don't think they're going to attack Surugu at all? They're going to attack Hongo. Is what no one would see coming.
It's the perfect plan.
They're going for outer heaven.
Oh, no.
oh no!
So
Okay, Akio, you want to roll? I
Yeah,
mean,
sure, why not?
Katsumi's got it if you don't want to. So
No, wait. I might do a better job. 1 second.
Yeah,
Okay.
You might be smart too. Oh no!
Ooh!
I didn't
Akio,
update it.
you agree with Sada as soon as she says it.
Why
Then
is
you
it
realize,
not?
oh no, that's.
They're attacking outer heaven.
Kasumi. Kasumi.
Yes.
It occurs to you that Katsune is where they landed the last time.
Oh yeah.
Does that mean it's
Familiar.
No.
familiar?
No,
Does that
they-
mean, like, they won't expect it if we go over here instead? Or what? Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
So
Wow.
it sounds based on my role, would I be considering that it's more likely they would use that same spot, or is it
You
more
would
likely that
suspect that Kobayami. You didn't really get his measure as a commander, but you suspect that the Kobayami would want to land somewhere where he knows the terrain.
that's what I thought? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't remember how much I knew of the commander, but yeah. Yeah, it's from what little I know of him, he's a creature of habit. He's gonna want to use the arrows that he knows in his quiver, so to speak. Which, and additionally, most members of the Shogun's military are prideful to a fault. I think we've seen that firsthand.
Yeah.
I think we have some toys that they will not be expecting. I almost said tools and toys at the same time, and it kind of like just like
Some of
out of
those
my mouth. And
toils.
it felt really, it felt bad. It felt bad. I gotta say. Have we talked to Brisket recently?
I did with Well, I
Greta
had
sent-
Greta send a
Got a
message.
sending
to
the other day.
Yeah.
Risket is the Skitterkin of Krithelmar, unfortunately,
Yeah.
severely occupied.
Yeah,
So
that
we
like
just-
just happened. I
Yeah.
know it seems like it's been
Yeah.
a while, but
Yeah,
No, I know.
A lot's been
in-game
going
2
on.
weeks ago.
Of course, I'm just trying to check our options.
Mhm.
The Hongi's military should be
It's
arriving.
assembling now,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
probably will get there in a few days, possibly at the same time as the Shogunate army,
Which I
depending
actually
on when they leave. You know that the Hangis are are really moving as fast as they can. You don't know
Yes.
how quickly Kobayami is trying to get to Surugu.
So here's our best. Here's what I think it would be an effective use of the Hongis, since they should be using similar warships as the Shogun, I would assume, correct?
The Hangis?
Yes.
Yep. They have essentially similar vessels.
Okay.
They don't
So-
have really. They don't have really a war fleet. They'll
Mhm.
be impressing vessels of their own as transports. So they're not going to be a real naval asset.
They're not, but that's not really what I was looking to do. As you mentioned before, the Shogun's fleets are much better and more effective at boarding actions.
Mhm.
So if they are arriving at the same time as the Shogun's fleet, possibly. I mean, if they arrive sooner, then we can assemble them in whatever way. But if we were able to get a message out through, say, a magical spell that we all know and love, then we could have them pincer the Shogun's fleet and board them from the rear, attacking their supply lines and flanks. That way, their forces that are mustering can be bombarded with fire from the sky skiffs, from explosives from the parrot guns, and we.
Pardon.
Hmm?
My parrot guns are not called parrot guns. They are called chateau guns because my name
Chateau
is
guns,
Professor
sorry.
de Chateau.
Right, correct. I apologize. I don't know where I got parrot from. I saw a bird on the way in. It's been a long couple days. I
It will be a
apologize.
mystery to us all, I'm sure.
Yes.
Secondly, my chateau guns do not fire explosive shells.
Yeah.
I apologize. They're smooth. Are they like iron? Just essentially iron balls?
No, they are a shipped projectile
Hmm. Like a big bullet?
meant to spin. Yes.
Hmm. That would be very good at punching a hole
Yeah.
into ships.
That's what I was most thinking about, is that we could probably, like, with those, considering the distance, the range on them and the power, they could probably just think a few ships like
Oh
right
yes,
off the
they would
bat
put
too.
especially
Yeah.
ships not meant for combat. Oh yes, they put all.
Yeah.
The only problem is that you would need to figure out a way of making sure it's below the waterline.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I'm thinking in my head that we make the chateau guns sort of priority one. As long if we can keep them safe and allow them to rain shells, bullets down onto the landing fleet or the ships as they are beginning to unload and muster, then we cut off their ability to retreat, and they'll be forced to come to us. If we fight them on our terms as opposed to their own, we will have the advantage. The Hongese fleet comes in from behind, and I ideally is able to cut off the head while we occupy the body.
Of course, this is all well
Um,
and good, but there's also still the biggest problem.
yes, the burning wrath. I
Yeah.
know. I don't really have a way to deal with that right now. I
One problem at a time.
will, if she shows up, we'll do the best we can. Uh, hmm.
I have contended with the burning wrath. In my
That's the
estimation, should she assault us, there are a substantial number of the people in this room who would prove a difficult task to overcome
Yes.
individually. All of us together would perhaps be a frightful obstacle for her.
I'm wondering, could we perhaps, while our forces deal with the ships landing, could we perhaps draw her away, maybe? So she doesn't interfere?
We
I
presume that she will coordinate with the invading shogunate army
Yeah.
without the rest of the Seven Sorrows to
keep
guide,
her in check.
as well as that. Her her objectives are murky at best. She may best be here to destroy as much as possible, with or without the shogunate at this time.
Hmm.
If you made friends with her.
That would be an impressive feat. And I think I speak for myself and Karadia that the elves of Amborelian have no such interest in doing so.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Once we agree.
As far as her, I'm worried. I don't know. That's part of why I'm worried about letting Kim Nuriel go away. I'm worried about my monastery. She is a potent force in her own right, and
Yeah.
between her and Peep, the
Peep.
place would be well defended.
Also
got
note
Peep.
that Peep can't
Yep.
get summoned for another year.
Oh,
Shoot,
jeez, I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there goes my plan to fuse with Peep and become the ultimate.
Uh-huh.
Oh well, next year.
You can talk to Peep.
Yeah.
You can manifest it enough. It'll be like a little tiny Peep.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Rita, can you please draw just a little Peep?
Maybe. What is he? Just a cloud with an eye in it?
Yeah,
He
It's just
is.
It's just a Kirby boss, isn't it?
yeah, he's a little crib boss.
Yeah.
He is a eye made of lightning, surrounded by 7 wings of storm cloud. So
Oh, he's a-
interpret it as though you will.
It's a Kirby boss.
Yeah, I
So-
love him.
Yeah, horrifying.
Um, hmm. If only there were an elemental focal point nearby that I could tap into and focus all of my energy to make a big giant whirlpool.
Is that like a real thing? Are you? I don't know. I can't
don't
tell your
know.
tone. you being
I don't
hopeful?
know. I'm being wishful.
I
I've
see.
done things when in connection with focal points before that I can't normally do.
Could you maybe just try kind of getting in touch with the waters near
I
wherever you
don't
think they're gonna show up and just see if I don't know they can be friendly
I don't
to
know. I
us?
could spend a couple days doing that while you
Mm.
guys get the other preparations underway.
Could be worth saying, "Hey, water, help us out."
Ooh,
I don't know how it
that's
works.
what that was.
Oh,
What?
what's up?
That was my. I turned on my tea kettle thinking that there was water in it, and there really wasn't.
Oh,
Oh, that's kind of good. Sals, that's not good. It's a bad thing to do.
Yes. Absolutely.
Um,
It did not like doing that.
Okay, Sal's out of character question is without giving away any sort of head because it's not something that was discussed. It came up just now. If Kasumi were to try to do something like that, like go and just like for like the next day or two focus on the energies in the waters, is there anything there? Would that be a complete waste of time?
Well, it's the frigging ocean, so there might be.
Fair.
You could try that. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think I kind of want
can't
to
tell you
'cause-
there would be like very. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to like summon the ocean spirit and become a gigantic glowing kaiju, but
that'd be
not
cool
that
though.
that would ever happen. But yeah, you might be able to make some sort of connection that could be fortuitous in the coming conflict.
I think I'm going to do that.
oh,
After we are finished here, I'm
right
gonna.
now, bye.
Well, yeah. After we're finished here, I'm gonna go walk into the bay.
so that I wasn't just looking out of my ass. It's the thing you can do.
I mean, when we were in Viven, I was able to hold up the literal bay. It was hard, and I passed out completely afterwards. But that's something I'm not able to do normally that I was able to do after I got in touch.
That's so cool. Okay.
So we need to get word to the Hungies.
Don't.
Yes.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah. They've been speaking Hongo for
Yeah.
a couple of years now.
No, it's just I don't know what happened. You said honkies, and I went to honky honky howies.
What?
Are you
sorry?
having a stroke?
Yes.
Maybe. Never mind.
All right, so we need to get a message to the Honky Honky Howies, and yeah, that has like some weird that had a weird mouthfeel there, Nuva. We need to get word to them, see what they think regarding a flanking their fleet and boarding them from the rear while they are currently occupied. While they're occupied, trying to land through all of our numerous ways of indirect fire. Say pew pew.
I said 2 years. I am listening to what you're saying, but as you were saying it, I also noticed that the clock that I keep on my cabinet of games, the battery died.
2
Oh,
years
apparent-
ago? Sal's.
Well, no, the battery died like today. The battery was first put in 2 years ago.
Oh, I
Ah.
see.
So that's good to know.
Had a
For
good
the
run.
last 2 years.
Could we have our friendly fleet just hiding out in the big bank of mist that we use to funnel them, and then once they've passed, we just scoop them up from behind with our secret hidden ships?
That's
Like-
not a bad idea. You'd be able to
Like-
do it from quite a distance, considering that the ships that it must esteem that Don Patazo sent us with have cannons. Not many.
It's not a
but-
bad idea. It's make them think that that bank
Oops.
is completely safe and good to just drop in, and then once they start getting in, all of a sudden, lo and behold, it's bad.
No,
After
no,
them.
no. We still use the fog bank as the funnel where they see it coming up on the one side. They're like, well, we better go this way instead because we don't want to get in that fog. And then when they pass the fog by, our guys swoop around out of it and close them in. That sort of thing.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah.
far enough away to just bombard the hell out of them,
Yeah.
as opposed to getting close enough to where if they have ballistas, we don't want their ballistas,
Or
hitting
to
our
be
own
boarded.
ships. Yeah, or to be boarded.
Oh no.
That's not a bad idea. That I think we can get Kim Noriel on.
Half fist pumps.
If we are doing that, I would like to evacuate my monastery to Kamako for at least until the battle's over. I don't like
Yeah.
leaving it undefended.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. Just keep things where we can keep eyes on them, or
Yeah.
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 Yes,
Indeed.
indubitably.
Coming up with a plan here. I think we have the beginnings of a plan, and I have faith that you guys can figure out the rest.
Well, I would like to ask a question before
Yes.
you
For
break
me?
for this. Well, between you and Akio, you seem to be the most soldierly types. Where do you expect to situate your primary defense? Are you going to Are you going to defend the actual town of Katsune? Or are you going to let them land there and assault them from the heights and hills around it?
So, all right, on the map, I'm gonna draw some things. In bright green, I imagine they'd probably land somewhere around here, not in Katsune proper, because as we've mentioned, they would just burn the docks. I imagine they would instead beach themselves, beach their ships so they can disembark, and from there march in Katsune to establish it as a base of operations. In that regard, I would think that we would be best positioned at the forest here at 816. I don't know why I wrote an E, but that's what it is.
And contest the landing.
And then we would have the Hongi ships coming from behind. We would have the sky skiffs just kind of coming in to drop fire. The more we can thin them out early before they can get established, the better. I do imagine it will eventually come to blows. It's quite a big force they have, but if we can keep it to a minimum, we have a chance even in direct confrontation.
They may seek to land the vanguard first.
Hmm.
If they do so, if we can crush that, they might withdraw and attempt a landing at a different place.
Wondering if we don't have time to issue a full scale evacuation of Kamako. Otherwise, I would say do that and then draw them in. Let them, let their advanced force come in, and then let their main force then proceed to start their landing procedures. But I don't know. I don't have all the answers. All right.
Let's ask Aristus for a blessing.
Who said that?
Who said that? Who said that?
Who said that?
Aristus waddles away.
Akio, do you have any ideas how can we make sure that they actually land their main forces before we, start committing?
I'm actually not really sure. Let's take a look at this map. Now, if I was a betting man, let's see. Uh-huh. Alright. If I was a betting man, distance would actually factor into what I'm trying to do. I would want to be as close to the capital as possible, so I'd want to know where that is.
The capital is over here.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. So essentially, but also, if I was a competent leader, I would obviously assume that would be heavily fortified, and that having my forces go directly against the wall would just lead to needless losses.
Well, we're pretty certain we know where they're most likely to land, and
Yeah.
it's over by Katsune.
Yeah.
Over here.
Oh, so wait, sorry, did I misinterpret the question? Yeah.
They might send a vanguard first and then send everything else after them.
Yeah, like to make sure that the landing is secure, which is frankly that's something I would do too.
Yeah, that's actually probably the easy because it would be obvious. It would probably be better to, especially considering they might have already started doing that. To be honest.
What do you mean?
Well, let's see. Have we actually do we maintain a records of anybody that's coming in out of curiosity?
I mean,
You
I'm
haven't
sure
established like a really
a
big
port authority.
bureaucratic custom service.
And we obviously don't have eyes on the entirety of the map. I guess what I'm trying to say is a vanguard, if they are real, and potentially they are, they could already be on the island preparing things as we are talking. Especially because, let's be very clear here, this has been weirdly telegraphed to the point where I feel, after you guys told me that they are now aware that we scried on them, that maybe I'm overthinking it, but it could potentially. It's just telling me that it was way too prepared. of a solution, I guess, if you can keep up with me on this. Um, there is such a thing as information being used to essentially take the scent off of something, and something in the back of my mind is being triggered, but I can't really tell where a vanguard would be. Huh.
Well, I would imagine they would be trying to secure a
Or what they
landing
would
zone
do.
outside Kitsune, and then
Yeah.
from past that, then the main force would then proceed to land at Kitsune.
So what would the ultimate way of doing that be? What would be securing a? Let's
I mean,
see.
landing a couple ships to make sure that it's safe.
Yeah, but I would think of more along the lines of sabotage. I'm just trying to think of what that sabotage would be.
Bridges,
Hmm.
roads.
Bridges, roads, yeah. Cut the supply route.
Start the forest fire.
Things that would actually take our attention away. And what would be the most disastrous? Damn, I'm overthinking this. I'm genuinely overthinking this now. I do agree with the Vanguard. We're gonna have to keep alert on that. But the island's too large to kind of spread our forces to get. I guess we could just focus on this area that you mentioned, since that's the likelihood of where the Vanguard would be to prepare the landing site. Yeah, I guess I agree
Don't
with
you
that.
have like someone that a security? Someone that
What?
like pays attention to things like this? I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
typically,
just
if
I
there's
do.
sabotage going on, there's a bunch of people that are on the other side saying, "No, no, no sabotage for you."
well, yes, that's what we would have Izumo and Shin for, which are they here? Were they called to this council? I would
Yes.
hope so.
Hey, boys, are you here?
Izumo
Let's
has
hope
been
that-
standing
Yeah.
next to you like the entire
Oh.
time and just looks at you and is, yes.
Look,
I know.
While
okay.
Shin, well, you don't see him immediately, but then like a blanket and several bottles shifts in the corner of the room, and you hear someone ask, "What?"
oh my God, I thought that was Logan.
See, with Pow's high perception, she knew that. She
Oh,
knows
yeah.
up. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pow observed Shin and was that's why she didn't ask earlier. I haven't
Sorry,
seen,
hmm.
I haven't heard or seen any means of sabotage. I haven't picked up any communications from off the island from the shogunate to elements in our own society. They might be waiting until they actually land, or maybe Kobayami thinks he can do this without them. It is pretty subversive. Hmm. Ooh, this one still has sake in it.
Glad you can always find the positive sides.
Mm-hmm. Negative. This was not sake. He puts it away.
Gross. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is maybe keeping a token, like a small force of like, some Ashigaru at the suspected landing site, and then have them flee to look like they are scared and being routed right away.
Nah, that would look more like they're coming back to tell us what's up. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
And then they
yeah.
could change whatever their plan was because they're like, oh no, they're gonna tell on us. We better do something cool and unexpected. That sounds
Perhaps,
good.
or if they see it's dismounted foot soldiers running back to spread the alarm, they may think that our surprise is successful. they'll never get back to the capital in time to warn them.
I see. Just some run of the mill guards. Yeah, that would look pretty bad on our part. That might work. It might be good.
Yeah.
Definitely want to draw them in, though. We don't want them changing up anything.
Right.
Perhaps don't attack them until they do. If they do land in Wales, wait until the vanguard is situated, and then when they're landing the main force, that's when you attack.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
that is 100% what I wanted to do.
You run the risk of them, depending on how substantial the
Yeah, we
vanguard
don't know how
is,
big the Vanguard is.
you run the risk of them fortifying their position and securing it against that very circumstance.
Right. Well, I mean, we can't get bogged down in every possibility. We have to just kind of work with what we got.
Hmm.
Um, I would think that they would be prideful to the point, or rather, not so much the military writ large, but their general would probably be overconfident to a point that they would just land fairly quickly. And even if their vanguard force is fairly substantial, I mean, we at least have the element of surprise and some things that they're generally just not expecting.
Hmm. Overconfidence is a major weakness. Akio, you remember the time in the Sea of Claws when we were tasked to sort that civil mine on the left flank, and the dwarves, they had all the golems? No? Maybe
I
I
think
just...
that it was AFK.
Accio nods his head stoically. Mm-hmm.
golems.
Mhm.
That's unfortunate.
Yes, I remember the time
I'm back.
things got really crazy
There you
out
are,
there.
Nuva. So you didn't
Oh.
hear what I... Nuva, you're back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, good. Jump back about 10 seconds. Kasumi was just talking about Kobayami's potential overconfidence, to which Enrico replied, yes, overconfidence is a potential, is a truly a tremendous flaw in combat. Hey, Akio, you remember the time in the Sea of Claws when we were tasked on assaulting that silver mine? We were on the left flank by the Dumadines, and the dwarves had overloaded that flank with all the golems.
Should I roll for this?
No, you remember that time. It was awful.
I remember that. It was awful.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Unless you'd like to build on the experience, Akio, that's up to you.
Sure. If I remember right. Oh man, I'm gonna try to optimize here when I got back. My brain took a rattle. Remember right? We took advantage of the fact that the golems would probably bring those ships down with their weight by. Fuck. Sorry, Cells. I have nothing.
All right, never mind. That's okay too.
Sorry.
So yeah, your meeting seems to have been well and truly entered or discussed by everyone at this point. If anyone wants to make any finishing statements.
Hmm.
Understandably, we are outnumbered. We've prepared the best we can. I believe that the Hangis will come through and act as a hammer to our anvil. But in the meantime, we need to play it safe, play it smart, and show the Shogun that we are not just some backwater, that he needs to recognize that we are well and truly free from him. And I have every faith that we will do that. We are skilled, we are smart, and they won't see us coming. And then I stand up. And, I guess.
Enrico stands up also and he claps a few times. Hey, it's a good one.
Yeah,
Hey,
thank you.
Blue lady. Kasumi. Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
go.
get a smattering of polite applause from the, it's not it's not a huge crowd, but yeah, you go.
I'm gonna. All right.
Radia doesn't
Oh yeah.
applaud, but she seems satisfied.
All right, Sada, Pao, Akio, please go get the kids from the monastery, but put them in Hayaba at the palace. Keep them safe. I'm. Yeah.
Huh.
Why wouldn't you're part of the party? You're part of the inner circle, so to speak.
I suppose, yeah. It's just okay. All right,
You
continue.
know, I'm showing trust in you, Akio. Yes. Just get them there while the preparations are underway. Kim Nuriel it should be more than willing to participate. I will be back in a day or two. So, if you need me, send me a message. The magic works where I can respond.
Yes, it does.
So yeah, you'll be able to reach me.
All right. Let us go.
Wait,
Okay. Yes.
Akio, you can't go yet.
Oh no, you're going to jail.
The
I
Archon
do.
is closer to you.
I do ask the Archon as on my way out if he could have somebody fly me out to the coastline.
The Archon looks at you and just gestures lightly and taps you on the shoulder. You suddenly feel weightless.
Oh God. Oh, what? I'd start floating up. What? This is a thing you can just do?
Simply think forward.
What? This is awesome. Okay, this
Yeah,
is
you can
cool as
fly.
hell. Yeah, all right.
You can fly actually quite quickly.
Thank you, sir. I will. I'll see you later. I'm gonna get going, and I try to bow, but I end up kind of like accidentally like flipping forward.
You'll get used to it.
Okay.
Also, yeah, I want to just confirm that I can count on the temple's help for healing any injured after everything's all over and done with.
Rita rolls her eyes and just goes, "No, I refuse. You can't
damn,
have any
okay.
help. What are you thinking?"
And yeah, and Kasumi it just kind of slowly and awkwardly floats out of the room, and then when she gets outside, does kind of zip away pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The Dragon Ball style.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You're back.
All right,
Okay.
what's up?
You still? What do you think's up?
I think that you know what? 1 second. I pull out a beer can and I crack open it and I start drinking it, and then I smash it into the ground.
Canning hasn't been invented
Yeah,
yet.
so where'd you get an aluminum can?
And you gotta crush it against your forehead. Come on.
If it were
I-
invented.
He does that with a metal flask.
He does
I-
it with a glass bottle.
Oh! Oh no!
Those goblins.
They're
We're
all
gonna
just looking at you with horror.
Those goblins. We're gonna die, Soda. If I didn't make it to them in time. And by jolly God, I went to that.
Whoa.
I went to them, and they told me about a pit full of slime.
What?
I found out about how goblins are made, Sana! It's
It-
wicked!
It's got slime involved.
Yes!
What?
Okay.
And by God, I solved that problem for you! For free!
And this was the
Uh.
impetus for your stealing a sky skiff. And it was,
There was no time!
there was no time, and you knew this before leaving.
I was to say.
That's a good point.
Assaulting one of my sentinel guard as well.
You assaulted
Listen.
a guard?
Listen, I didn't do anything. Well, I guess I did challenge them to an arm wrestling contest. And
From what I was told, Senor
I
Accio provided a distraction while the rest of his party actually stole the skiff.
Now, that's a very liberal use of the word distraction. I think so. Because I just really, if you ask Batby or any of my comrades here, I love arm wrestling. I'm known for it. Look at these guns. I just
You're
have
wearing full armor.
trust me on this. Now, as to the series of events that ended up with me going from point A being the arm wrestling contest, to point B, me being on the sky cliff. Well, that's open for many interpretations. We all have memory issues, and as you can tell, I have a drinking problem. But at the end of the day, the result is the goblins are on our side, and the ship itself is in. It has been returned. Scratch is free, and I'm out whatever amount that I gave that guy. See, if anything, I'm at a loss. Also, I got rid of a. Also, our team got rid of a pit full of slime that made little mean goblins, and also there was just a lot of terror with that. I lit it on fire. That was pretty neat. That was gonna be a problem later, and we had that is under control.
I'm sure there's
I
I'm sure there's some manner of reasonable recompense that can be
Yeah.
discussed here.
Sure, why not?
The Archon rolls his eyes.
Oh. I'll pay you for that gas money that the ship doesn't use. What is gas? I just made that up, just like this.
The sentinel broke his shoulder, falling.
Oh,
Oh.
You'll repay for the healing,
sure, that sounds fine.
if that is acceptable to you, Sada.
That's fine with me.
That's perfectly reasonable, and
I appreciate that you are being reasonable as well. Believe me, I know you are too important to forego in this most
that's
trying
genu-
time for you.
that's huh.
So I appreciate
Genuinely
that.
not something I expected you to say to me at this moment, and I genuinely appreciate the gesture. Please tell the Sentinel that my apologies. I had placed my priorities on the service that I had to carry out, and because of that, he has ended up harmed because of my actions.
I'm
I
sure
will-
he'll understand, he says, turning away from you and beginning to float towards the door.
Oh,
You will
All right.
be given a bill in the near future.
right.
1 billion gold.
I
Well-
will be continuing my observations of
It won't
the
be
Shogunate fleet,
It'll be like
and will
Ethereum
let
or
you as
whatever their
soon as I
fancy.
see any sort of movement.
Thank you, Archon.
Thank
He
you.
floats out of the door.
There he
What
goes.
were they? What Electrum? God, that's right?
Yes,
Electrum?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
the
not
elves deal in
Ethereum.
electrum
Okay, cool.
pieces.
Yeah.
No, not Ethereum. The elves have moved entirely to Bitcoin.
Bitcoin,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh no.
Elon Musk.
No.
Mm. Oh,
Huh?
I'm eating a cookie. What's up?
Nice.
Ah,
I'm eating
congratulations.
ice cream.
Congratulations.
I,
What are
I'm
you
not
eating,
anything.
Tombstone?
Nothing.
You piece of shit.
Yeah.
Hit the program.
Fucking rude.
Yeah.
I wish.
I had
Um,
meat and
I don't.
alligator meat for the first time. Tastes like
Mm.
turkey.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wasn't expecting that. I thought it was gonna be like chicken, but that's very clearly turkey. So I'm very weirded out that people, I guess, don't know the difference between those two birds.
What?
Unless, I don't know. I had gator meat for the first time.
Gator meat fucking rules.
It's good.
Never had it.
Jake, do you agree that it tastes like turkey over chicken?
No.
It's
Do
definitely.
you think it tastes more like chicken than turkey?
Does it taste more like gator?
Does it taste like either in particular, or does it taste?
Not massively. It's hard to describe. It's got a weird like kind of tang to it.
Ew.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
No, it's good. It's like it's really good. It's satisfying.
It's very good. I'd have more, even though I think alligators are so cool that and eating them. I am not the kind of guy that's like, I have now eaten the gator. I am now more powerful than ever. I appreciate eating the ultimate predator, but no. Where am I going with this? You finished the cookie yet, Sals?
Yes. It doesn't
Made
take
me
me that
wanna-
long.
I don't know how big
Um,
the cookie is. It could be the world's
Here's
largest
Oreo.
cookie. World's
Uh,
smallest cookie.
So, yeah, the Archon is left and is now essentially just Akio, Sada, and Pao in the room. I know where Kasumi is going. Where are you three doing?
Wait,
No clue. Maybe
I thought we were
Ekka
gonna
didn't.
go.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
thought we were all going to go get the
The
orphans.
kids. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do have to do that.
That's
it's-
true. Kasumi's adopted orphans are in the monastery.
Oh my god, there's so many orphans.
The elemental orphans are still in Hayaba, though. They are in the
I thought we moved them back.
no, don't. I think you were discussing it, but I don't think they actually had been moved back yet. Again, it's only been a few days since you got out of Chrythalma.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, at this time they are still in Hayaba and will likely stay there for some more time. But they don't necessarily have to stay inside the cathedral anymore, which might be good for them. Unless you want to keep them locked away there. They are a group of rambunctious teenagers with elemental powers, so that may be a mistake.
Why did that sound like a
Those-
synopsis to a movie?
Those kids and their darn Emirian elemental hadn't stopped me. I
Yeah,
would have
they-
gotten away with it.
They gotta save the island from the Shogun. And the prom is tomorrow.
from
Oh my
land
God.
development.
Oh
Wait.
god, yeah, they gotta save the rec center.
And the prom?
Yeah.
What is that? And prom is tomorrow. Okay, there we go. I was like, the prom? What the hell? Okay.
I don't know
Fair
if any
enough.
of you watched Dimension 20.
No.
No, but I
Um,
should.
What
It's
is
good.
Dimension 20?
Well, actually, you don't have to subscribe to Dropout. I think they do end up on YouTube like a few months after it finishes.
Mhm.
But Dimension 20 is Brendan Lee Mulligan's D&D show cast.
He's so good.
He really is.
Yeah.
And the first one they really did was called Fantasy High, and it had from the name, I think, a fairly obvious premise. And not to spoil things for you, but well, actually, no. If you're going to watch it, I will not spoil it for you. So this entire point, ignore it. But prom does come up, and it is an important point.
Nice.
It occurred to me that if you do actually watch it, that like what I was about to say is actually like giving
Massive
away the game a
spoilers.
little.
I just got that it's a play on high fantasy, and I feel very stupid. I feel very
Oh my
stupid
god,
now.
I didn't think of that
Oh
until you said
my
it.
god, they just flip the words around and suddenly becomes a high school story. Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh,
Ah.
Wow.
that's actually really good though.
I
Can't
will
I think
check it
games like
out.
that?
Eh,
The other show that I really like on there is The Unsleeping City, mostly because
that
it is
sounds
fantasy
like
but in New York, um, which is, for me, it's a fun watch just because it's just like I know that place, I know that place, I know exactly where he's talking about. Brennan Lee Mulligan is actually from NYC, so the campaign is basically his love song to the city.
work with what you know.
Anyway,
Anyhow,
so yes, what are you three doing now that we have digressed?
not stealing another sky.
That may be wise.
But man, that was so cool. Got to be with my boys.
It was very well done.
Yeah, that was just really. I'm smiling right now. That was just overall a nice little side thing. Anyhow,
What to do?
I'm
Oh
flying.
yeah,
You
Pal,
are flying.
how
Yeah.
how'd things go with Agamemnon?
Oh, we haven't. Have we not discussed that yet? We just got here. Is how
Yeah,
this all
I think
timed
we all
out.
just. Oh yeah, did we just?
I thought we went over it.
No,
Maybe.
did I can't remember.
I think
I
we
don't
must
recall you
have.
going over it with Sada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you did just get back
Yeah,
like
you just got back. Yeah,
today.
yeah.
it's what? Oh, what all did we even do on that whole trip? There was like a lot that happened.
You put out a forest fire.
Oh
You
my god.
stopped at Shugo for the dumpling festival. You went to
Oh, yeah.
Egamentai and dropped off Pizitnit. You flew north to Hongo. You got arrested.
I'm gonna glaze over that part. I'm gonna recount the dumpling festival and the fire very quickly. Those happened. It was cool or not, whatever. The Agamentai stuff was kind of weird,
Hmm.
but I think good. But also, we're not.
Sounds like he's up to
We didn't.
something, but
We didn't acquire any help from him, right?
yeah,
He's just sort of doing his own thing, his own really quite mysterious thing.
his own thing where he asked you specifically if these people were connected to the people connected to the Seven Sorrows, and then ignored you.
Oh.
Yeah, right. He
Okay.
said this is the same Shogun, or something like that. I can't remember the exact words.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, and then
Excellent.
You
him
did note
and
that he has given you substantial amount of aid already.
Yeah.
it is true. And him and Pizzlenet, the
Pizitnit.
Pizzitnit. Yeah, I think we'll get along quite nicely. So that's what happened.
All right.
So very 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 little information was actually gleaned from that trip.
Oh man, does Kasumi see the will Kasumi run across the goblins on her trip? I wonder.
I don't think I would. It's still too far
Oh,
north,
no,
I
probably
imagine.
not. Yeah. A little
I
too
think
north, yeah.
I think Pow would be interested in seeing if we could sort of get some maybe
Actually, I can do that.
clerics to help the fighting and stuff
With the fighting. Okay.
as like support, and also maybe I don't know what they have. They might be able to buff our troops or debuff their troops, or provide just help.
Clerics are known for
Something.
being good at both of those things.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if there are any that are of a quote unquote level capable
Well, that's
of
the
doing
thing.
useful
Even a
stuff.
level 1 cleric can channel
Yeah.
a few times a day and just like give you a little bit more hit points. So yeah, that's a good good idea.
Yeah. Those that would be willing to put themselves out there to protect our way of life or whatever.
you might find some of the most motivated people to do so in your temples.
Hmm.
No one in your weird tripartite religion wants to let the shogunate retake control because it means the elder temple retakes control.
That is true.
Yeah.
That'd be the end of a very good thing that we got going on here, and no one wants that, do they?
Nope.
Ugh.
All right, so Paulina, you're going to the uh, cathedral or the temples.
Yeah.
Are you summoning your
Oh,
temples to you?
I guess this is like an official. What's the title? High priest.
High
or-
priest is the title. If you want to
the-
create
yeah,
one,
the game title. We don't. Yeah.
Ultra High
The
Priest
Grand
2.
Poobah. No, yeah, whatever that is. But yeah, as an official sort of function of my duties, yeah, I guess so.
Mhm.
Duties.
Okay, so
I'll take
Paulina
that.
heads off quickly because she knows no other speed towards the cathedral.
Yeah.
Akio, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Time for Akio to babysit. Clearly.
I
Also because I think that'd be very funny to see Akio deal with the teens.
I guess that's the best use of my time. I start
I mean, hey,
making-
if you have
wait,
other ideas, I just think it'd be very funny.
I genuinely don't know. Like, I guess because like Kasumi made asked me to. I guess that's what I'm gonna start doing. But I don't have a fast way to get there, so I begin to walk.
Okay. Akio, you also begin to walk towards the cathedral at a quite a bit
Brisk
slower
pace.
speed than Paulina. It's her choice if she wants to walk with you.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right, okay, pal.
Oh, are you? I'll jog backwards.
You just
Yeah,
like
back-
you stop like, oh wait, oh Akio, wait, right.
Yeah, you want to? Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Oh hey, pal.
Go for a stroll, I suppose.
Well, it's not that it's more like I can't really go at your pace without turning into liquid. And that also I can't do it. So
If Akio sprints, he'll go about as fast as Paulina's walking speed,
Nice.
which is preposterous. But anyway, that's D&D.
She's
Yep.
just too dang fast.
And Sada, what do you think you'll be doing?
I wanted to, I guess, check something about the chateau guns.
Okay.
So I guess
So
I'll go
you
catch up with
head-
them. Yeah.
Yes, the residence of the Vicomte de Chenier. No, the Vicomte de... Vicomte de... Quoi? Vicomte de... Je ne sais pas. Vicomte de Bagnard. Monsieur Francois Baron. Who is not a baron, he is a vicomte, as stated. Okay, so Sada, you leave, and also quite quickly, but not as quickly as Pal.
It's true.
Make your way out
I can only move
toward
40 feet per round.
the large Rococo manse that houses the esteemed member of Morphose nobility. But we shall start with Kasumi, who is flying
Splendid.
like
Flying.
Yeah.
like a zephyr. You have overland flight cast on you, which means for the next 15 hours you can fly at actually a really quite fast speed. So yeah, you where do you go?
I'm
Yes,
going
so.
to fly towards 617, just off the coast
617.
of Kitsune.
Okay. Woof. You fly over rice and wheat fields. You see hills to your left, to your right. forests beneath you and to your left. Katsune appears below you. The town bustling with its own movements, wholly unsuspecting of the threat that may soon be upon it. And yeah, you get to the ocean just outside the town and off the coast. You can see it easily still, but beneath you is only water.
Is there like a
and deep.
beach? Kind of like am I noticing like a likely landing spot?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you're on the border tile, so you could also land on the beach that's part of that forms the border between 716 and 617.
I actually would like to go into like the proper like water, so not like all the way in the center of that hex, but like kind of like midway between that and the border of 716.
Okay, yeah,
So I guess like
you're about half a
there.
mile off the coast.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
say. The water
Um.
here is, you are well past the point where the sand built up by thousands of years of waves hitting the shore has just drops off into the ocean, and the ocean floor just plummets to quite great depths beneath you. What do you do?
Okay, getting more specific as we're talking about it. That spot, you know how whenever you get to the edge of what the bit that makes up what is underneath the island, there is that drop off.
Mhm.
Kasumi's gonna go to the edge of that drop off.
Okay.
She's gonna dive down into the water, and I guess it's a mixture of her own swimming and her flying.
Your
But
flying basically takes second fiddle to your swim speed as you hit the
yeah,
water. I believe that's actually still faster.
I believe so
Um,
too.
and yeah, you zip down through the ocean like as if it were air. Uh, the water parting around you like you're a torpedo shooting directly towards the sand beneath you. Schools of fish part and reassemble around your descent, and soon the last few bubbles from that you brought with you from the surface have detached and begun to make their way back up towards the sun as you alight upon a precipice and you look out into the deeper ocean, the dark depths of the sea.
Oh boy, this is such a great bit of I hate that, but you know what? Kazumi doesn't hate that. So, yeah, she's going to find like a suitable little rocky spot that's overlooking it, like on the precipice, and she's going to sit down in a meditation pose. And first, she's going to begin gathering power as per the ability gather power, because she wants to open herself up as much as she possibly can before trying to push past that.
Okay.
So that would be like a couple turns of just like more and more like I guess since it's underwater, it would just be like a current swirling around her of like sand that's been picked up by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kazumi, you step off from the end of the sand, and float along the edge of the underwater cliff face, until you do find a sort of promontory in it, a set of rocks covered in places by sand, covered in corals and manner of anemone, which you know not to touch.
Yes.
Urchins
No
roll
touch.
around on occasion. A crab scuttles away from you. An eel's eyes gleam at you from the darkness of a cave within the rocks.
The
There's
darkness.
clownfish and other water life swim around you. At first startled, then less so. You're large. You move quickly. But when you stop, you're strange. You become more of a curiosity than a threat. Fish occasionally pick at your hair or just swim by you. And eventually, as you sit upon the corals and their stones, you set yourself in a meditating pose and willing the water not to float you away, you
That's true.
begin to meditate, taking in as much of the sea as you can, absorbing it, not literally, but in the consideration of its essence. You feel it moving through you and around you, your hair wafting on the currents, your body as it's pushed and pulled by even the underwater tides. You become more in tune with these tidal functions as you feel them going in and out like breathing, only so much grander. Would you kindly make a constitution check?
Okay, I can do that. Let's make sure I don't have anything accidentally. Okay, we're good. Okay. Ah,
I will note that you have hero points. They have refilled as this is a new sort of.
okay.
If you
Yeah,
want
I
to
am. I would like to use it to reroll.
Okay.
Are you for real?
That's hilarious. But on the bright side, recall that that becomes a 14.
I see.
So that's actually a 21.
Oh, okay. That's better.
That is better. You could have only the DC was 20, so as soon as you chose to reroll, you could have still failed, but you only had about a 10% chance. But fortunately, you did not, because you connect in a deeper way to the ocean than you had before. The ocean is just so vast. It's so grand. It's almost unthinkable. It's the waters here go so far down, so far across, it's almost limitless. You could simply drop into the depths of the ocean or be born there and never, you could swim for miles upon miles upon miles and never know there was a surface or a floor.
Yeesh. That's spooky. The ocean's spooky.
It is. It's almost unknowable. It's so incredibly grand that
Vast.
to try and master it would be impossible. And yet, you consider similarly how fragile it could potentially be. How the waters here are of a certain temperature, and if they were different, then the small difference would potentially kill much of the life that has adapted to living in this area of the ocean. And the ocean elsewhere is the same, while being different. It's the world within the world.
Hmm.
Beneath the waves, there is a second logos, and you're just beginning to touch upon it. And as you reach out into these foreboding, infinite depths, these most the closest approximation of the plane of elemental water, the place where it is strongest, where it is most reflected on the surface of Logos, you feel it begin to reach back into you.
Mm.
And you feel that breath and those changing of the tides. And you feel the water going in and out in accordance with the moon, but as a incidence of itself. The ocean is cyclical, vast, immovable, and strong.
Yeah.
And there is no artifice of men or elves or dwarves or a fiend that can overcome it,
And then a shark eats you. Arm, arm,
should
arm.
it be aroused to wrath. Kasumi,
Mm-hmm.
you feel the water impart into you. You're physically, you feel the ocean embrace you. Far more so than even underneath the Laguna of Aven, where the ocean meeting the sea, clashing and yet a coalescing. That was different. That was like a handshake. This is a full hug,
Oh.
but like a bear hug.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
it's
that.
compressing you.
Yeah,
You
like
feel
it's
the
pushing down on every
incredible
side.
pressure of the greatest depths
Mm-hmm.
simultaneously as you feel the awesome waves of a tsunami, and you know just a sliver of that strength. So you get the following two things.
Uh-huh.
Your strength increases by 2.
Mm.
Oh, damn.
I get a little more diesel. I'm at a cool 11.
Ah, hell yeah.
And you gain a power,
Uh-huh.
a new form infusion. It's a utility infusion. So it's not really an infusion. It's a utility thingy. I forget what they're called. Never mind.
Hang on. It is, would it be I mean, yeah, it would be a utility thing, right?
Yeah. So you have the following ability.
Mm-hmm.
It is called Tidal Call.
Okay.
It does not actually exist, save that I'm telling you.
Okay.
And I will give the exact wording to you later,
Okay.
but it lets you spend a certain amount of burn. And for that burn, you can cause the tide to go in or out
Hmm.
in an area. And you can
Ooh,
spend that up to 4 burn.
Uh-huh.
And at 4 burn, you are affecting a mile long.
Oh,
Wow.
hell yeah.
Ooh.
That opens up some possibilities.
And Kasumi, at a certain point, you exhale liquid, and you feel the
you suddenly
ocean
start
no
drowning 'cause
longer
you-
like you feel the ocean no longer like trying to no longer intensely embracing you. It's now merely you have that connection. It's your friend, and yet you also feel sort of as a servant to it. It's so incredibly grander than so much grander than the day-to-day pathetic machinations of mortals that for a moment you just feel utterly detached for it all until you begin to realize that no, this is why I've done this.
Mm-hmm.
And you come back to yourself, and as you realize you're doing that, you realize that you're no longer in the lotus position that you had begun meditating in,
Yes.
but rather you are now seated in a throne of corals that have grown up around you as you
Dope as
were
hell.
conscious only of the sea.
Okay, yeah, I kind of I look at the coral throne with a bit of surprise, but it's like that kind of like dry, you're almost not surprised kind of surprise. Um, and I stand up from it. I look back down towards the depths, and I kind of slowly nod and then bow towards it, as insofar as it's both. It's not a living thing, but at the same time, it is a thing that has its own unknowable will. I show my deference and respect to it as one would show towards a god.
I
And
mean,
You fool!
mean-
It's Aristus.
yeah, I'm like sitting here like.
I mean, it is and it
Aristus is not
it's,
the ocean.
yeah, the ocean existed before Aristus.
Yeah, fair.
Did it though? Did it?
Did it really?
Yes, and the moon continues to exist past the death of Lunord. It turns out
There are some forces that the
Oh.
divine merely piggybacked on.
one hopes.
One hopes. Yeah, and then I zip and zoom out of the water as fast as I can. How long do I still have the flying?
You do, but by the time you reach the surface, you realize that it's much later than when I went under. The sun has gone from being very high in the sky to being very low. It is setting in the west, and you suspect that you've been under there for a good 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
Damn.
Oh well, I'm gonna fly back to Haba, kind of going low-ish, just in case the spell starts to wear off.
Okay. You don't have to worry. The Archon is a powerful caster, and that spell still has quite some time to it. You are able to get back to Hayaba without problem. So, while Kasumi was doing that, Faline,
Yeah.
you and Akio have made your way to the cathedral of your new triarchate. What is the name of your religion?
Oh boy.
Huh.
Whew.
Because right now people are just sort of referring it to as being, the three gods. We worship them.
The three.
I guess.
It's the trio for Mio. Thumbs up.
Buddy Christ statue. Of all three of them just pointing at each other.
Hey, hey, that'd be pretty good. Yeah.
But that might be something that you want to think about.
Yeah.
Damn, I was muted. What about the Three Musketeers? Like the chocolate? I don't know. Probably shouldn't call him that, pal. As we're
What?
talking.
You
You're
don't
like,
like you don't like the trio from Mio? Doesn't work.
no, no.
I thought it sounded kind of friendly, but
It
yeah, maybe
sounds
it's not very
sounds
like
a bit more
official.
comical.
Oh,
than- yeah, I don't know about that.
triumvirate. The
That's pretty
The-
nice. That's
the-
catchy.
the tetra. No, is tetra 4 or 3? That's 4.
Well, you got
No, or is it
the
3? Delta?
tri-
Oh, I'm confused.
I mean, you had it right with
Yeah.
that word.
Yeah.
Triumvirate.
The
Whatever. That could work. Troika.
What? Sounds like a disease.
Well, that's
Actually,
the Russian.
it's a a three-bladed sled.
What?
I thought it was just the word for a group of three in Russian.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess it is then. But I know it from it's a type of sled also. It's called a troika. That
Oh, so you get two
but
things in
it's
one.
called that because it has three blades beneath it. So
Oh, like GT sled. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Tomb. GTs? Yes, no?
Two.
Oh,
What?
Tomb. Tomb's gone. GTs. Yes, no. Sleds.
What about them? I remember them being
They're-
cool. I think
Yeah, they're cool.
they were the ones with
Slightly.
the steering wheels, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
Come
that's
on,
oh no,
a
jump.
excuse me, I'm wrong. It's not
steering
because it has three blades,
Yeah,
which
man.
actually in retrospect doesn't make any sense. It's because it has three horses pulling it.
Oh.
Ah,
My mistake. I'm a dummy. However, it's also a really good in Lieutenant Kijé, Sergei Prokofiev wrote the score for a Soviet movie of Lieutenant Kijé, which is a Napoleonic era story, Russian story, and the Troika movement in that is very recognizable. It's a really upbeat, enjoyable musical piece. I recommend you go listen to it at some point. I once was listening to it in the car and I noticed that I was like driving 80 miles an hour in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, which I did not realize because I was just vibing with the idea of being in a sleigh and zipping through the Russian countryside. So that's me.
That sounds right.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yes. Where was I?
Pow and Accio
Yeah.
were walking.
We're walking to pick up some orphans.
What about the triple threat? No, that
the triple
sounds
threat
threatening.
triad.
Triassic.
I kind of like that.
two men and a robot.
What?
Um, I'm sorry. I had also just momentarily checked Twitter, and the British Embassy in Washington sent a happy birthday tweet.
It's your birthday. I'm
It's
sorry, it is
your
your birthday.
birthday. Period. Anyway, so yes, you have reached the 3 large pagodas that make up the cathedral, and various members of various clergies walk back and forth between them. Um, Relatively few worshippers at the time, although a few people are just using the paths between the 3 buildings to cut across and get to other places beyond in the city. Um, Actually, the cathedral sees quite a bit of foot traffic in that way. Um, you, what do you do?
Like a big sweet gong I could ring, or do I just have to sort of? I could just walk between all of them and be like,
Oh, it's your cathedral if you want, and that would fit in the setting. So if you want there to be like a gigantic gong in the middle,
or big bell, big old cool bell.
yeah, with one of those swinging log things.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Absolutely.
You can do that yourself, or you could get a guy, or
I'm gonna do it myself.
okay,
I'm very strong.
make a strength check. The gong would have been easy.
Yeah.
The log
Set
bell.
myself up here. Oh.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I get a hand?
Well, I mean, no, you're able to like get it swung a bit, and then dong. And it's not like the loudest thing, but it's enough to like carry through the temple. And it's not like it's more of it creates a sense of curiosity at first, rather than like a impetus to come here right now. A few clergy do notice and walk over to you. They are in fact clergy of Silva that come over to you, and they're brown and rather
Oh,
very humble garb.
I have a question.
Yes.
How well known is it to the lay folk that we are going to be shortly under attack? I don't remember
That's
if that's a thing people
actually
know.
a good question.
Okay.
And you have not spread this
Okay.
information around, so
I will broach that subject then. Not just with these stragglers. I'll call, yeah. I would like to call some sort of meeting. I know it's impromptu.
a press conference.
Yeah.
Would you? Well, the bell is used to summon such.
Yeah.
Would you? It was a bit quiet on the first one. You could try
Yeah.
ringing it a few more times. If you get it going, a few good gongs, that should get everyone out of the temple. Otherwise, occasionally a child does make use of the bell lately.
Oh yeah.
Certain children that have been sequestered here for a fairly extended period,
Yeah.
plus one older volcano that are definitely not getting on anyone's nerves.
Oh no. Well, okay, yeah. I'll give this
You,
bell
Paulina, make a
couple
perception check.
rings. Oh, perception check. Okay.
Yeah.
Just gonna try to ring the bell and then embarrass myself again, but this I'm much better at. So, 27.
Okay. You notice 2 things. This priest of Silva is like completely expressionless as he says this, but the 2 lower priests behind him both look at him as he complains about the kids and roll their eyes in opposite directions. The other thing that you notice is the elemental kids.
Yeah.
Anu, Hakashi, Kato, and Samaru are currently walking out of the Temple of Polonius with none other than your friend and mine, Ara Takahashi. And as it is, well, at the time that you're getting there, it's probably around lunchtime, so it's, a place to go. And yeah, they're just sort of walking out, and you espy them, and they don't seem to. Well, actually, they'd be walking directly towards you, so they do espy you as well. And yes, the children, upon seeing you and Akio, do wave at you and sort of speed up in their
And everybody's faster than
approach.
Akio today.
Ara striving, and upon seeing that they are accelerating, strives to keep up with them. And yeah, soon you have a gaggle of kids with you, as well as one
Hey.
Ara. You get a chorus of hellos or slash highs back. Before Samaru, the Sylph sort of strides a little bit closer and goes, "So, are we going to be able to leave here sometime soon? Because we've been here for a few weeks now, and
No.
we haven't been attacked by a
Not
vampire,
now.
and we would like to actually go somewhere else in the city, at least, because right now we've been stuck in these 3 buildings for a while, and we can see the whole rest of the city from here at the same time, and we haven't been
I
able to
put my
visit any
hand
of
on
it.
his shoulders. We're going now.
I am
Yeah.
not a boy.
Nuva said that, not Akia.
Yeah, that was out of
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, I said I put his hand on his shoulder.
Yeah, we had planned to bring these kiddos to the castle. Did we do
Come
it
to
with them?
castle.
That's what
Wait,
Kasumi asked, I think.
is that what we're doing with them?
Yeah.
Well, we're not chucking them in the ocean.
I thought. Oh, okay. I've got things turned around. What the heck? Where's that?
We're not.
So you're bringing them north to Kamako and not to Hayaba Castle?
Yeah, I thought we were bringing them to Hiya. Should we, if we put
Jake,
them?
if you'd like to clarify, I mean, it's
Yeah.
I was expecting to bring them to whatever was going to be like the safest location militarily.
Oh yeah.
I wanna. Is Kamako safe if it's on the coast and we're not 100% sure about?
between the 2 cities. Hayaba has the larger garrison
Yeah.
and the greater defenses. So
We
between the
either
two,
hide them
Hayaba-
somewhere really unlikely, or we keep them in the core with us, right? Like
Yeah.
clam them up. Yeah. Which okay.
I trust you guys. I kind of gave you a somewhat nebulous, just keep them safe directive, and that's not like the greatest
It's incredibly
of directions I've recognized.
Okay.
Putting you in the safe capsule where you can't get hurt.
even before you start explaining where they might go, they
Yeah.
have already gotten into a very excited set. Even Manu, who is relatively skeptical and muted, seems exceptionally relieved that she will be able to see other walls or just other places other than this temple after being
Yeah.
locked in a different temple on a different island in a giant fog bank for a couple months, actually.
Okay. Sports champs. This is how it's gonna. This is how it is. So you're gonna be put back up in the castle. I know it's not super fun, but it's it'll be sort of explained to you. But I think for like at least today and what tomorrow, right? Like we have what's our time frame here?
I don't know.
Say it tomorrow, whenever the battle's done.
Yeah. Would it
They're the
it'd be
kings.
fair to have them? Yeah, like you can with a chaperone. Maybe explore the city a bit.
That chaperone is Accio.
Yeah, or whoever. It doesn't have to be Akio. It can be if he wants to be chaperone to a bunch of children. But
I mean, I've been serving as a
Yeah,
chaperone, but
that's right.
I guess that is sort of just in the temple.
Yeah, I think you've proven yourself to be quite reliable.
Was
Ara's heart seems to grow 3 sizes as soon as you say that.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, you've really done a lot to prove yourself, and you should be proud of that. I know taking on responsibility is difficult. You've done a good job.
Heck yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and so you all deserve a nice time. Go see some sights. Maybe get a bit to eat. Here, I'll give them a sensible allowance to go out and get some food or something. Just to go have some fun maybe for the 2 days that they'll be able to before we have to put them in castle and a war happens.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell them
how
about
much
at the
do you
moment.
want to give them as an allowance?
I don't know what's reasonable for sort of daily walking around money, buying dinner, lunch money. What's the bank? I probably have.
I mean, you have a
money,
ton
right?
of
Got
cash.
money. Yeah, I'll give them. What is this sensible about?
It's up to you to decide.
I never spend money except on stupid, expensive magical items. So I don't know what things cost. I think let's see. I bought some plate.
We've become the bourgeoisie.
I know. Oh, I spent 2 silver on a bunch of nice dishware. So
Banana, Paulina. How much could it cost? $10.
The 1% of fantasy worlds of the adventuring class.
I genuinely don't know what's reasonable anymore. Is 50 silver pieces a lot or not enough? Should be 100? Oh no.
You know what? At this point, this amuses me to the point that I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. Yeah.
God, and can't you believe we started in Lowtown?
God, this is the most natural extension of POW to me. Not understanding measurements and money, scale is it's gone. Yeah, here's a little pouch with 100 silver pieces.
Nebulous pouch of undetermined value. That's what it says on the pouch.
Oh man, it's 100. It's 100. I said it, so that's what it is. It's probably too much. It's probably incredibly too much. You know what? They've had a very hard time for quite a while now. They had to live in the mountains by themselves under constant threat of a vampire. They had to live in a church under constant threat of a vampire. For a while, they lived in a castle under threat of a vampire. So you know what? Yeah, take this money. Go have fun. Eat some food. See the sights. Come back. Come back to the castle. At 9. Your curfew was 9.
Okay. Paulina, you hand $100. Or no, not $100, excuse me. You hand 100 silver pieces.
I'm this frazzled aunt to these children. I don't know what money is. I don't know what children are. Have fun.
To these
Get
children,
weird,
I'll now give you a reference that Pow just pops into her head.
Oh yeah.
Where she, if something occurs to her, a good meal for a person is about a silver piece.
Okay.
They get to eat 100 good meals.
Actually, no, excuse me. A good meal for a person would be a silver piece in the usual gold-based currency form of the Pathfinder world. But as you recall, I shifted things, and now I have a silver-based one. A good meal is about 10 copper pieces.
I gave them 100 gold. I forgot that's how. You know what? Fine, do it. Yeah, I got money. Pal's just thinking in her head like, yeah, the last thing I bought was like, it's like what 8,000 silver. So 100, I think, that's pretty reasonable for like 5 kids and
How
like a
is
couple days worth
dating
of
like
food.
the wealthiest person on the island?
Oh man,
Money means nothing.
boy, oh boy. Yeah.
You watch these kids open up a pouch, see what's in it, look at you
And
with
quickly leave.
the wonder of someone meeting Santa Claus for real, and just as soon as you tell them to go get something to eat or something, they are zipping off into the city.
Don't
As
spend it all in one place.
Ara watches them go and goes, wait, we just ate in the. I'll see ya. And he starts running after them
Incredible.
as they are free.
Oh no! Knew that I can see it too. Holy cow!
You've done something incredible today.
Akio just like.
Should I stop
Ah.
you?
No.
Too late.
Because we basically
done.
went from being very poor to having a insane amount of money and buying very expensive, silly stuff. So it's like, what's a sensible amount of money? I don't know. This is right. So here you go. Yeah, so that's handled. I feel like that's pretty good, right? Gives them some time to cool off, and we can tell them sort of the bad news later, right, Akio? It's pretty good.
Wait.
What?
Akio, at this point, the kids have already disappeared into
Yeah,
the crowd. If you wanted to be their chaperone, you.
Oh, did you want to have fun with the kids? You can go. Yeah, go.
I
You
mean,
gave
ice
a back
cream.
you gave a bag of 100 gold to a bunch of children, and you
Wow.
just let them out in the city.
What do you mean? I'm gonna get dinner, and
It was
that's a
still
couple.
okay.
That's a couple days walking around.
No, thieves!
They can buy some souvenirs.
No, that's not the
Do we have
point.
thieves?
Do we have thieves?
With thieves?
It's a
In our
city.
town?
I mean,
Yes.
Oh, I don't like that.
Akio
Oh,
begins
no.
to run into the crowd.
Hayabu does not have a
Oh.
major crime problem, no, but it has.
yeah.
You know,
Any city large enough
criminals.
probably has at least a couple criminals. Yeah.
All right, maybe find them a proper chaperone that can do something about that. Okay.
things are going off the rails with this. What should have been a very easy task.
Yeah, I know.
It's very good.
Yeah, this is me with money. Turns out numbers are confusing. That's all.
Wait,
Uh,
did you give them like a place to get back?
Yeah, I sent the castle. They have a curfew, 9 o'clock. Yeah. Is that no good? That's pretty good.
What would Kasumi say right now? And Akio just kind of
So it'd probably be like, haha, nice. And then she'd give me like a high five, I bet.
You know
That
what?
is giving away.
You know what? That is what Kasumi.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
WWKD.
What would Craft do?
What would Kasumi do?
God. Just to be safe, I'll see if I can find them. But you should probably go to the castle, and I'll keep my eye on them. How about that?
Val can't go to the castle. She has work to do.
You've got work to do. I probably got work to do.
Yeah, you have to chaperone some kids.
Oh, I guess that's what I'm doing. I pull out my sword.
Before they
Get out
buy
of the way. I
entire
have a
supply
sword.
of Hayaba's ice cream or something.
Oh,
Well,
no.
that-
Can
that
somebody
kind of-
remind... Oh, sorry.
With that kind of money, they could buy an ice cream store.
That sounds nice.
Mhm.
What's the sort of hotkey combo to shuffle a window around manually? I just lost my Chrome window somewhere between my two monitors, I guess. Uh-oh.
I don't know.
It's like Shift Enter? Alt something tab? Oh shit.
I don't know, actually.
Oh my I've
Window
squished-
key
I
and
can't-
arrow. Hold down the window key and press arrow key. I think.
Oh, you've done it.
Nice.
Thank you. Oh my god. It's like all my Pathfinder stuff is just gone. It's there, but it's not. Super. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the point of this was to call some priests together.
All right. As Akio begins trotting off into the crowd to try and track down some wayward children, Paulina, you ring the bell a few more times. Eventually, you're able to sort of get some momentum going, and the bell rings quite a bit loudly until eventually it becomes clear who's ringing the bell for one thing, and people are going in and out of the temples very quickly. You have three groups of people dressed very differently, but all looking at you expectantly, as the various clergies of these temples, at least the ones in the cathedral, have arrived. After some time, also, runners, young acolytes who had been sent out of the cathedral while we were doing this, have returned with additional groups from the temples themselves, including the heads of the various branches of your religion. As Baradun thuds his way into place, what do you do?
Is there like a cool thing I can stand on?
You're on a
That's
platform
fine.
with the bell.
Oh, okay. Oh, sweet. That's perfect then.
Mhm.
Is this everybody?
The various priests and monks and acolytes and others look around, and there's a general nodding of agreement. Yeah, this looks like anybody.
Joe
Okay,
isn't here.
I call you here together to bring you urgent, unfavorable news. The Shogun threatens to take our island, and his forces are on their way at this very moment to storm our shores. He'd have our people drafted into his war on tea, and our triumvirate, or whatever we're calling it, toppled and
You do get a
resupplanted.
couple of whispers of, we really need to think of a name for it.
You really do. Yeah, but have it resupplanted with the Elder Temple. Any hopes for our unique, ideal way of life? Just sort of, dashed away, I guess. So in this moment, I'm entreating those willing to endanger themselves to protect others, to join our forces in protecting our island when the time comes, which may be a day or two from now. This is looming near on the horizon, but those of you with powers to hurt and heal and help and guide could be it could be super clutch. Yeah. And I'm sorry to be the one to bring this to you. I wish it weren't true, but this is happening now, and we need to start acting decisively and you know, yeah.
Roll diplomacy.
Man. Okay. Diplomacy.
Don't fuck up.
Oh, thanks. I won't. It's told me not to.
I've cursed you. That was my plan. Oh, see, it was
It
reverse
worked a little bit.
psychology.
Again, you still have hero points if you want to try again, but
Oh no, is a 24 not good?
I'm not saying that it's not
Oh.
good. I said a 24 is pretty good. If you
Yeah,
want
it's
to
pretty
try
good.
again, you can. You can't get much better than that. But yes, you can.
I
Actually.
can actually, yeah. If I re-roll it, I don't have to. Do I take the? Do you choose? It's not like you have to take the.
You take the second one, but the second one is going to be better than your first one. You rolled below a 10.
Oh right. Oh
So
right.
you'll add 10 to the second if you do
Yeah.
that again.
Okay, and we're full on hero points, and we have 3. So we have
I
a
think
pull.
you have 3
pull
at
of
this
3?
point. Yeah.
Okay,
you're
yeah,
level 15.
I could afford that at the moment, I guess.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, that was possibly the worst roll you could have rolled.
Yeah. It's very fun. Very fun.
But that's
again.
okay. Because the speech is actually quite stirring. And you are exceptionally well respected at this point in these 3 temples. They all do, you being a follower of Atunket and indeed a champion of it. I mean, word of your actions in the pit where you punched a hole through a gigantic crab monster. You know, you had people who saw you do that. That's spread around. Karita hasn't been especially quiet about that, even with her priesthood. These 3 disparate temples are looking mostly among themselves, but also looking towards each other, the splits between, and the sort of separations between them that have sort of followed. And for the first time, you feel a certain unification in this that you haven't really experienced before, where, yeah, they're all on the same page for you right now. They're going to fight with you. And, you know, whether win or lose, you're going to have your new triarchate at your back.
Pow wipes a little tear from her eye and just whispers to herself, "It's the trio for Mio."
Oh my god.
Wow.
She doesn't. That's stupid.
No.
It's so good. What are you
No.
talking about?
No. I'm stopping it.
Oh man.
Relay that. Belay that.
You can't. You're off. You're chasing kids. Okay,
Yeah.
Pow, you have, your troops will have clerics with them, which is a good thing. That's
Yeah.
actually that is a material bonus. It doesn't really matter what power the individual cleric is. Any of them is going to be, just because you heal 20 people, you heal in a 20-foot area around you each time you channel divinity. That's just a huge amount of healing. And if you're embedded in a group of people, that alone, a level 1 cleric doing that does a tremendous amount, considering that that's basically that's negating an arrow every turn. You suspect that, if you hadn't gotten this, you may have had an issue where the 3 temples may have, while all of them would want to see the Shogun defeated, there may have been some internecine jockeying here. But right now, the way these people are sort of looking and like milling around and sort of talking amongst each other, you guess that you could take 3 random clerics from any one of them, put them in a unit, and they would work fine together, or at least acceptably well.
Yeah.
You might get a couple of sour looks at the token evil teammate, but
Yeah. But you know what? Their powers, I think, would be complementary. No, and a
Absolutely.
unified force. This is ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the clerics of Polonius maybe, well, actually no, the clerics of Polonius are really potent healers. He has healing as one of his domains.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got 3 really good support priesthoods behind you, and you've got them all on board, importantly, and on the same page, and not looking to one up each other, at least in this case. An important thing. After that, you are sort of the various highest priests, Greta, Tonoyaba, and any number of others. The upper echelons of these 3 do sort of crowd into you to try and discuss how best to distribute themselves through your army, and that is something that we'll probably talk about between this week and next week as to how you want to place these, because you do have a lot of clerics at your disposal, but you do have actually a fairly substantial number of units now. But we'll decide where you want each. And don't worry about like, oh, how do I put a cleric with a unit of fire lizard cavalry? The answer is you will have a cleric that rides a fire lizard, and I think that's
Yes.
pretty cool.
That is pretty good. Yeah.
Yes.
Moving slightly over to the right now.
Yes.
Akio,
It's me, Akio.
how long does it take you to catch up to these kids?
Well, that's
Because
up
if
to
you
you,
know
buddy.
stupid teenagers, you know that giving them 100 silver pieces could be potentially disastrous. Also potentially hilarious.
I
So
don't.
it's up to you whether or not you want to chase after them too fast. But the problem is you don't know where they went. They disappeared into the crowd outside the cathedral. As I said, it's a heavily trafficked area. And, while they do stand out, one of them literally has their head on fire. And Ara, of course, has a bright blue flopped over mohawk. You don't see them currently. Unless they're in your direct sight line, you might not see them.
I asked whoever was in the crowd in front of me, hey, has anybody seen some kids? One with
Those kids?
fire for a
Points to the absolutely wrong kids.
No, not those kids. One of them has flaming head. Not like a
You mean
flamboyant
these
hairstyle.
kids? Points to another group of kids. There's just one that's a ginger.
No, what? No. Crap. I guess I'll have to search the city bar by bar.
Okay, bar by bar.
Yes.
Gather information is a diplomacy roll if you would like to do that.
Oh.
Akio Arata, you decide to canvass the city bar by bar.
They gotta be in here.
Well, they're not.
No, well, might as well
Guess
get
I'll
a
just have
drink
to go
while
to
I'm
the
here.
next.
Yeah,
What?
Akio, you start searching around the city, and you would think for such, uniquely visible individuals, I mean, besides one having flaming hair, one has, literal ruby hair, as in made of ruby, or at least some sort of bright red crystal, and is also like 6 feet tall. He stands above like most people. One is blue, one has strange hairy markings and glowing eyes, and has hair that's constantly wafting in the wind.
Could those kids have gone?
You have no idea.
That's so weird.
You don't know.
Hmm.
Where do
I'm
you
go-
think they might have gone? Akio, Nuva,
Me.
consider a place you can invent it that you think these children may have gone. We will roll and determine whether or not that's where they are, and each time they aren't, it'll take another hour
Would
of
they?
searching.
Would they
That means if you
perhaps
keep
be?
that means if you keep failing, you can keep making places up in Hayaba.
Oh, 1 second.
That's
let
true.
Me, let me.
Yeah. Let me get my notebook ready.
All right. Would they be?
The
Wait,
sister
1
shop, the
second.
soups.
I need something really quick. Let me just pull it up. Maybe at that new. Wait, shit. Whatever. I'll just go off of. Would they be at that new delightful store, the one that had all those sweets, and they were just inventing them new by new? There was like a chocolate maker. Oh man, and they he was employing the use of some the dwarf. No. Let's not go too far with that. Yeah, they could be at that candy store. I think that's what they call it. What was it called? What was it called? Second. Give me something. Give me something here. Really? Okay. I think it was called.
Lil Aristus's saltwater taffy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go with that because I like it a lot. What do I roll?
Saltwater Taffy. Gather information. Same thing.
That's diplomacy. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Wow. Well, that's disappointing. Oh. Yeah, +9. Excuse me. Akio,
What's up?
you get to Little Aristus's saltwater taffy. And you do
There's a little
find
Aristus.
yes, there's a tiny little Aristus in the window. He looks like a scamp. He is in the guise of a child looking for candy. And you get in, you walk inside, and you find the Gilman proprietor handing out the various candies, and he sees you and goes, "Hey, looking for something sweet or something subtler? We got plenty of both. Hadanese takoyaki. I don't know why I called it Hadanese takoyaki. It's only from here, and we're from here, so I probably shouldn't have used that as a descriptor because it's obvious. Sorry about that. I tend to ramble when I screw up something. Anyway, can I interest you? They're shaped like fish.
Maybe a bit. Did you see a group? Huh. I'll take one.
He hands it to you. It's hot.
I am wearing gloves, I think. But here is a silver piece. That might be too much for a single piece. Yes, I just realized that. I'll
Yes.
take whatever the equivalent of a silver piece is, and I'll chew it down. Oh, it's hot.
Um.
Oh, it's sticky.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I get things confused. Takoyaki are octopus
It's
balls.
like a meat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I was
Tora.
thinking of taiyaki.
Oh man, I thought this was gonna be sweet, but it's very savory. Is that a?
No, it
That's
is.
takoyaki. Takoyaki's like a waffle thing with
Yeah, it's a fish-shaped little cake.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
That
That was
is
red bean
flavored
paste, right?
with sweetened azuki beans,
Yeah. Yum, 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 yum.
Oh,
or
this is
custard,
pretty-
chocolate, peas, or sweet potato.
Or ice
Oh wait,
cream.
sorry. That must have been the amount that I drank. Now it's turning into like a waffle. Mm.
Oh, that's kind of strange, but I'm glad you like it. Would
Sure.
you? Which flavor did Akio get?
I what are the flavors?
The sweetened Bazuki beans, custard, chocolate, cheese, or sweet
Go
potato.
with, let's go with chocolate because Akio is that seems to be the one. Yeah, sure. I'll take one of each, but I have a. That was really good. Sorry about that. I'm actually.
By the way, he's currently breaking a silver piece for you. So he's taking the silver piece and is currently giving you back like 95 copper pieces.
You know what?
As you realize
Keep-
just how many of these things the kids could have bought.
Okay. First, you know what? Keep the silver piece. Give whatever the
Oh.
equivalent of that to. Give that to like the amount of like the next people that come in that ask. Just hey, it's on the house. How about that?
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's just I'm on a short schedule. Did you see a bunch of kids? They might have had a bag of gold on them, ruby for hair, flaming. One of them probably had a literal flaming hairstyle.
You couldn't
Very
miss them.
tall.
Yeah, they
I
came in
did.
like a hurricane. Just came in. They were like loaded rich kids. I thought,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not complaining. They bought a bunch of stuff and they headed out.
Right. Good to know that they didn't buy you out completely. All right. Did you know what direction they went?
I mean, I saw that they made a right at the door, but
All right. Thank you very much. I'll
no
make
problem,
sure to
anytime.
tell everybody about Little Aristus's. It's a cute little place. Talk to you later.
Hey, thank you very much. Please spread the
Yeah.
word. We're new here.
Yep. Huh. As soon as I leave the store, it's like, wow, that's really fucking, that's really weird. Yeah, okay. All right. Right. Okay. Should I make up a new store? Or
Wherever you think they might go.
there are a
Time for
bunch
the
of
Viennese
children.
pizza shop.
Okay, they're a bunch of children, but they're teenagers, so they wouldn't really go to a toy store, would they? Nah, they'd still be hungry. It's night of the town before they get stuck in a castle. They want to, yeah, food. You know what? What is this place known for? By a seaport. Sushi's probably expensive. They'd be at a sushi place. Yeah. And they'd be at that one that I go with my buddies to. The fucking Christ, the names are hard. The Michaels. No.
Just a sushi place called Michael's. That's Ruku.
that's- hey, it stands out. I'd be at the fish board.
Okay,
That's
the
not
fish
really.
board sushi place.
And their like sign
Wait.
is like a dartboard with fish sticking out of it.
Yeah, there we go. That works. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And like
Thank-
butcher knives. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. 'Cause it
Confusing but
stands-
fun.
Listen,
Roll diplomacy, Akio.
here we go. Where's the diplomacy? What? Really? What? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Akio. You get to the fish board. And
That place was
you walk inside,
okay.
and the proprietress looks up at you, a rather a substantially plump-looking halfling woman, sort of walks up to you as you enter and goes, "Good evening, good sir. How can I help you? Welcome to the fish board.
Man, this smells really nice.
Thank you. We do grow jasmine in the back, and we spread it around to ensure a most floral eating arrangement.
Well, I'd stick and stay, and probably I'll come back when I get a chance. But I'm kind of in a bit of a hurry. Did you see children? They probably would have stood out. Probably came off as incredibly wealthy. Uh, and ruby hair, literal. Flaming head, literal.
Oh, yes, the four, and also an Okano, older. They're not children, they're more teenagers, I think. But
Yeah. Did you see them? I'm their chaperone, and I gotta.
yes,
Yeah.
I think they're in room 5,
Room 5.
down
Okay.
that hall and to the right.
All right. Uh, here, thank you. Here's a silver piece. Let me just.
Thank you.
I
She,
mean, sorry.
She puts it
Pe-
down at the front of her kimono and
Just for help.
bows and shuffles away to attend to other customers.
All right. Room 5 it is. Let me just do this with roll 2. Okay. All right. I go in the direction that she pointed me to.
Okay. You open the doors. Gesundheit. You slide open the door to room 5, and you find the children, or the kids, the teenagers, the 4,
Those
plus
wacky
Ara
teens.
Takahashi. What you also find is a tremendous amount of just strewn wrappers, sort of set aside plates, a few half-eaten takoyaki, and all of the kids plus Ara are sort of just strewn out on the tatami mat floor, sort of occasionally groaning, while Samaru just sort of sits in the corner with her legs folded, looking at you, and goes, "Oh, I was wondering
Hey.
when you were going to show up. I thought you were supposed to chaperone us."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys had fun. We can continue the night. But it kind of looks like you stuffed yourselves to the.
Yeah, at the thought of continuing the night, the 4 stricken bodies in this room give you a mixed. It's not actually verbal. It's just like a very intense groan of negative. I don't think anyone wants to stay out anymore.
I remember when I was young. All right. Well, if you guys, we'll just sit here, and well, I'll probably order something and wait for you guys to. What? What? Is that?
I mean, there's still food around if you want to eat that.
Yeah, I'll probably participate in the. Like, God damn it! 1 second. My cat doing things. Close the door. Now I'm getting on the floor. But I'm not doing the dinosaur. I had to pick up the wires they dropped. Okay. I guess I start eating, and then I'm like, okay, well, if you guys want, share some stories about the escapades of yours truly and some of and your surrogate. Is that the word I want to say? Your surrogate mom.
Adoptive, maybe? I don't know.
Adopted. I'm trying to think of a cool word to use here.
Are you talking about Kimnuriel or Kasumi? Because neither of them's
Kasumi.
really adopted us. Both of them have been sort of protectors, and really Kimnuriel has been the protector for us longer. And so thinking of either of them would a surrogate mother would be appropriate, but I haven't really made that choice yet. I don't know if you have any suggestions on that point. And I don't know if everyone really are willing to make that sort of, you know, actual like relationship jump where you actually have like a mother-daughter or mother-child or mother-son relationship with either of them. We both like them a lot, but I don't think either of us have really, or any of us have really come to that decision point. It might come in the future. I certainly think of her as both
Okay,
of them.
I will talk about myself instead.
Okay.
And then Akio, without particularly putting in the gore, avoiding it, speaks of how he came to obtain the golden suit of armor, as he exaggerates to a bit about how he would jump great distances between ships as he challenged the captain of an enemy ship as a hired mercenary. And once he finally downed him, he decided to take his trophy, when in reality, he found it on the side of the road and thought it was cool. No, that's not how it was. It was actually hard won. This is not the Return of the Trident in the fucking store. And that's now I wear it every day because, well,
Because I
essentially,
don't own any other clothes.
I actually technically don't.
All right. Akio, roll one last diplomacy roll, please.
Okay. Please don't be a 1. 16.
16. Okay.
Just like what their ages
your
are.
story is really this should have been performance, but you don't have performance oratory, so but this is
Yeah.
close enough. Your story is enough to keep their attention and not cause them to get sick on you.
Oh,
and
God.
yeah, as you talk to them about your exploits and the exploits of you run through your own story pretty quickly, and then you start thinking, you have an idea. You start talking about your whole party and
Yeah.
Kasumi, the person that has been sort of close to them and trying to, and very concerned about them, and the whole lot of them, the things that you have seen people do.
And as a normal man, seeing Kasumi do the things that she did with the water and the ice that she performed, it was often sometimes a mistake for a miracle on my part, my perspective. Then you have Sada, who, despite
I've
the
seen her
many
eat a raw potato.
she ate a raw potato, and also she would jump. No other character have I ever met in my life has jumped into the jaws of death and jumped right back out. And then you have Batbayar, who literally died and came back 3 days later. It wasn't really 3 days, but
Months
But
and
I-
months, actually.
I missed him. I was really sad about that, actually. And you have Pow, who is just really fast for no
Wow.
reason. One time,
I think I jump into the jaws of death fairly often. But
Oh,
for
she-
some reason, wow, Sada's the one you think jumps into the jaws of death. Okay. All
Well,
right.
Look, you know how many raw potatoes Sada's eaten?
I remember when I first met Pow, she had a face, but now it's all scars. Also, let me tell you the time that I scared the shit out of her on her birthday, or was it Pascal's? I was too.
That
It
was
was
Tell
Pal.
Julian's
me that
birthday.
story. Oh no.
Wait, no, you know what? I'm gonna wait till you're older because I just remembered what the birthday brought us. Another.
Okay. And yeah, you are able to at least entertain, well, somewhat. At least keep their minds off their roiling stomachs as they manage to overcome their the excesses of their afternoon and evening for the next few hours until eventually they're ready to stand again and you're able to get them on their way.
Hmm.
Sada,
Yes, me.
we'll end tonight with you visiting the Vicomte de Bagnard,
Yes.
Francois Baron. You are ushered into his office by Maximilian as per usual, his overly affected form becoming more and more natural to you the more you meet him. Overly affectatious, I should say. And yes, you stand or you walk into the presence of the Vicomte, who respectfully stands and bows to you as you do so before returning to his seat. To what do I owe this visit?
I wanted to ask, do you know how many chateau guns do you guys have specific exactly?
Quatre. Four.
4? Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
The four prototypes.
Yes. And I was wondering, how well would they work mobile?
Mobile?
Yes.
Well, they are not precisely caliper guns, but on their limbers, if you set their horses in a full team of 8, they can move quite quickly.
What about
The-
to a sky skiff?
I must say I had not given the thought any consideration. Professor Chateau would be the better.
Yeah.
The Vicomte leans over, grabs a little crystal bell, rings it. Almost instantaneously, the doors open and Maximilian walks in. Maximilian, if you would please fetch the professor, bring him here. Tout de suite, s'il vous plaît. Of course, my master, the Vicomte de Bagnard. Maximilian turns around, shuffles away, or actually does not shuffle. Excuse me. He
Saunters?
advances away, and very soon you are joined by Professor Duchateau, who bows at you curtly, and a bit more obsequiously towards the Vicomte, cleaning his glasses and replacing them on his face as he sits down next to you in front of the desk. May I ask where I was summoned?
I had a question about your chateau guns. I was wondering how well they'd operate with the team of people on, well, if we have attached them to the elven sky skiffs for mobility.
The professor at first looks aghast and then sort of sinks down into a little bit of greater, deeper thought. The skyskips are not insubstantial vessels. The shuttle guns could potentially be able to sit upon them in turn. My concern would be what they'd be best able to fire upon from the effective heights that the skyskips sail at. The level of vertical traverse could be an issue if you wished for them to bombard a vessel on the surface of the sea, for instance. The gun attempting to peer over the side of a skyskip to shoot down at something would be, I think, a very good way for it to topple over the side. But the speed of these skiffs, I have seen them when they wish to go quite fast, they do go quite fast. I saw one speeding off north, which I thought strange.
Oh yeah. That was that last night, or I mean yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Kasumi and Pal with one they gifted us.
Ah, yes. Well, no, forgive me. There were two.
Oh,
The
yeah, that
second
one.
one did that.
Yeah, that one was Akio. He stole one.
Ah, well,
Yes. Long story.
interesting. Excuse me. Irrelevant. Your skiffs can fly at any altitude, yes?
Yes.
Including at the surface of the water.
Yes. So I'm wondering if we could potentially swoop down with them and then swoop them back up.
Or simply keep you. Yeah. That could be an extremely mobile platform. My only concern would be ammunition supply.
Yeah.
How much one could fit on the sky skiff and keep it mobile while also including the crew for the cannon, the pilot for the skiff, and the gun itself. But it is very intriguing.
Yeah.
My other
I'm not
fear
sure.
is it's meant for it is not a sea-bound cannon. It is not compact. The wheels on this are large, meant for transport over land.
Yeah.
Comporting it onto a restricted area like a skiff could potentially result in difficulties in manning it, but those could potentially be overcome.
Yeah. Could it
It's
potentially be mounted to like the front deck of it, potentially, maybe, without the
Are
wheels?
you asking me to completely remove it from its chassis
Oh, it was possible. If I was wondering if it could be done.
and aim it with the sky skiff? No, I'd have to build an entire new entire new support structure to be able to make. This is a very precise instrument. Its power is in its accuracy over great distance, and its heating power over the same. You remove it from its current gyroscopically stabilized support on its tronions, and you remove half the ability. The crew need to be able to make subtle adjustments in its aiming, which would be even more difficult if you are moving at speed. You would have to simply aim it with the skiff itself. You'd have to mount it straight forward or straight to the side. If you put it on a skiff, aimed it to one side, you would only be able to fire from that side, but you could clamp the mounting somehow. I don't know how manipulable the deck of the skiff is, but if you can ensure that it stays in its place, the wheels, or if you remove the wheels, as create some sort of mounting, the central support that could be manipulated in its normal fashion. Potentially removing the wheels, you could actually free up a tremendous amount of space. The rear portion of the mooring as well.
There's also a mini stable with enough room for one horse bolt in the insides of it. I don't know how much ammunition you could potentially store there, but
Accessible from the deck of the skiff.
is it cells? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. You can sort of you can't walk down into it because typically there'd be a horse in there.
Yeah.
But you can there is like a little hatch sort of thing. It's not really a hatch so much as you touch a portion of the rear portion of the skiff, and the stonework just sort of melts away in a sort of 2 foot by 2 foot square. That you can see down into it, check to make sure the horse is doing all right, and yeah, potentially lift stuff out of there. And if you have a person sitting in there, he could, instead of a horse, that person could potentially hand things up to you.
All right. Yeah, I could see it working maybe if we have one person down there helping to pass it up.
The professor's eyes are wide with possibility.
And I can lend you guys our sky skip to hopefully so you can figure those out. And I can talk with the Archon about getting 3 others.
If I may, this was not developed as a seaborne weapon. Its preferred testing would be on a land mounting. Yes, but think of the possibilities. Think of the applications not yet thought of. Well, isn't that the purpose of thinking of them, to think of them? Yes, okay, fine. No, but still, in this specific situation, poor Chateau guns on a bluff firing down, very effective, could create all manner of fright, taking out officers, knocking off cavalry, but could be overwhelmed. Mobile on one of these skiffs, you poke holes wherever you wish at your leisure and fly away.
That's what I was thinking. And so I was worried about them potentially getting overwhelmed if things went wrong, but if they're on the skiffs, then they can easily get away.
There were certain considerations of the Montfaucon's crown, the Montfaucon's crown, that would need to be addressed as a perhaps experiment for this battle. This may be acceptable. I will have to contact some people in the homeland. You understand. There is a certain investment in these devices, and the thought of applying them to a foreign technology over which we have no control to test them with, it raises some questions beyond simply the application for this single battle. But we can perhaps negotiate.
All right.
With that, the Vicomte stands and I should like, given the press of time, I should like to make those contacts now. If you would excuse me, Daimyo Ryudo, Professor
nod.
de Chateau. Until next time.
But yes, I can drop off our sky skip somewhere if you want to. Well, get a like a
Tonight.
good personal eye on it. Yeah. Where do you want me to drop it off though?
You are at the castle, right?
Yes.
I will go there.
All right.
Professor de Chateau, I prefer if I will not take any of the guns. I just want to look. Yes, it will be fine. Don't worry. I'm not going to. I won't get lost. Professor. Bonnyard, the Vicomte de Bonnyard grabs his little bell, rings it again, a little bit more forcefully this time. Sets it down. Maximilian appears. Maximilian, follow the professor and make sure he doesn't get lost or something. Maximilian purses his lips at the thought of being someone's chaperone, but obeys. And with that, with Professor de Chateau and Sada Ryudo, followed along by the inestimable Maximilian, returning to the castle of Hayava, with Akio having successfully rescued the elemental children from their Taiyaki-fueled binge, and with Pao having united her temples into, for now at least, a single structure willing to lay down their lives for Tsurugu and your continued independence. And as Kasumi attains a new height of power through interfacing and joining with the ocean itself, we will leave off. Until next time.
All right.
as you begin to your final preparations,
For war.
starting with Sada returning to the castle to find the Archon and two of his fellow mages floating in the courtyard.
Oh. Huh.
And as soon as she is within earshot, the Archon simply says, "They have departed."
Uh-oh. All right.
And we will meet again next week.